most ophthalmologist of our central India. He has more than 34 years of experience in ophthalmology and practice, and he just loves digital technology. He has delivered many lectures over many ophthalmic conferences, and he also conducted vast courses for toric IOLs. He's going to speak about teleophthalmology. As we all know, application of available information technology tools to deliver possible ophthalmic services to the patient sitting away from the ophthalmologist is teleophthalmology. So welcome, Dr. Anand Gade, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Viral. Thank you very much for your kind words. And thank you very much, EIVS, Dr. Prashant, sir, for making me the part of this wonderful IC. And the word teleophthalmology, actually, it is derived from the telemedicine. And the telemedicine is pretty old. In the year 1870, when the telephone was invented, there are two articles in the Journal of Lancet and Science Direct. The two doctors, they claim that a physician sitting at a distance can help the patient by listening the patient's heart and lung sound. So that was the actually initial telemedicine. And over a period of time, then different refinements are coming up. So now teleophthalmology, and what World Health Organization says about the telemedicine, it is actually delivery of the health-related services when the distance is a critical factor. By employing all the latest tools of the information technology to exchange the valid information so that we can make diagnose, treat, and prevention of the disease. This is the actually telemedicine. And this teleophthalmology, why we are actually trying from the last many years, but actually this is a pandemic which has given boost to the teleophthalmology. Number one factor was that everybody wanted to save from the to be saved from the pandemic. And so except whatever the ultimate we had some obstacle in between, mental obstruction, everything was gone and acceptance came up very fast. And we have to adopt teleophthalmology because the number of ophthalmologists in our countries are from different surveys, from varying from 9 to 14 per million population, whereas in the USA and other countries, the number of ophthalmologists per million population are from 60 to 80. So our number is very less, plus most of the ophthalmologists, they are located in the urban areas. So to take the ophthalmology to the remote area, teleophthalmology is the best tool. And we are gifted branch of medicine in the sense that lot can be delivered, services can be delivered by studying the ophthalmic images. So in what way we can deliver the teleophthalmology? It can be synchronous. Synchronous teleophthalmology, when the doctor and the patients are live at the same time, they are looking and talking each other. It's a wonderful tool, but at the same time, it is open for the online abuse from the both sides. Second way we can deliver is the asynchronous, when the images are uploaded and sent to a concerned doctor, and doctor, as per their convenient time, they study the images and treatment is advised. One more may be the combination of both. Once we study the images and bring and talk to the patient online. Third, after these three things, one more important device has come in the market, that is smartphone, the WhatsApp. It has got all these three things. Here we can exchange the text messages, images, video, anything is possible. Everything is possible. So what are the avenues and what are the, or I should say that applications of teleophthalmology? Number one is primary basic consultation. I hope that each and every ophthalmologist or most of the patients, they have utilized this basic consultation during this pandemic time, and at least something was delivered. Next is most important aspect for the small hospital or a single doctor is counseling for the surgery. Patient come to surgery, just you diagnose, whatever, recommend the surgery, ask them to go back and talk to you online whenever they have time, so that counseling session can be shifted online. Then important avenue may be the follow-up. Once you have operated upon the case and the patient do not have any complaint, no complication, then we can visit or talk to patient online itself on the through synchronous teleophthalmology. One more is when we need to have a second opinion from our colleague or from other specialist, same time that we can bring in them online. Then there are two more aspects, the diabetic retinopathy and the glaucoma. Actually, these are the two important diseases which about into this area. Services in these two areas being delivered by some charitable hospitals from a very long time. And good thing is that about the specificity and accuracy of these images and in this field of diabetic glaucoma is somewhere more than 95%. What are the advantages of teleophthalmology? There is actually no geographical boundary of your services. Wherever internet is available, we can take our geographical, we can take our services there. Patient saves a lot. They need not to travel to the hospital every time, or maybe their frequency may cut down. So suppose you operated, they come for one's operation and most of the follow-up visit, they can cut down. Then doctor saves a lot because now most of that work time you have shifted online as per your convenience. So remaining time is utilized for some more constructive one. Hospital again, they are benefit in the sense that when the only basically they are making the triage. The only needed patient who need the procedure, who need some other services, only they come to the hospital. Optimum utilization of the whatever resources that we are carrying out. And of course, each and every must protected from the infection. There's an infection protection available to both sides. But there are certain issues with the teleophthalmology. Number one, you need a very high-speed internet. And fortunately now, India nowadays has got there's no problem with actually high-speed internet. But mostly the doctor-patient relationship is at stake. When patient comes to us in the OPD, then after some talking, then when the rapport is formed and that patient's faith in the doctor or we trust the patient, it is this rapport is very difficult to form in online or maybe teleophthalmology. A legal aspect may come up. Dr. Viral knows much more about it. He is a very medical legal expert in all over, known for his knowledge all over India, ophthalmic circle. That consent. If teleophthalmology is initiated from the patient side, then no consent is required. But if teleophthalmology is initiated from the physician side, that is for either follow-up cases or counseling, the probably we need some consent. That consent may be either verbal or maybe video, can record it, or earlier patient can send us email also, a form which we send to the patient and they return us. Then thing is, we have to follow certain government rules also. Like what Dr. Prashant sir was saying, that certain areas, gray area, yes, they may come here and in teleophthalmology also. Teleophthalmology is very demanding in terms of investment and you need trained staff. Suppose you are running a eye care hospital and you need to establish one satellite center, then calculate the cost of all those high gadget instruments and then the running it with the trained staff, it goes up many folds. Or if you don't want to establish satellite hospital, then next option available to is have all this equipment installed into a mobile van. But when you take all this equipments into a mobile van, your wear and tear will be very, very high. So we are in for this investment will be a big hindrance into delivering teleophthalmology. Privacy and confidentiality, yes, privacy is both ends. It should be maintained and it has to be, we have to look for that. And then whenever we deliver this high investment, we are delivering these services, definitely some sustainable charges or services is required. To conclude, teleophthalmology is required to take it to the remote area. But at the same time, we cannot invest as a single doctor, a small hospital. We cannot bring so that much investment. So, but you have to take some baby steps. Number one baby step may be adaptation of some application. Some apps are available in the market with patient while book the appointment. They can register their complaints or maybe allergy so much so that time whatever is recorded in our clinic that is saved. And what our earlier speakers they have enumerated, like ophthalmic education online, your our EMR, and the optimization of your search engine. If we combine all this together, then definitely that day is not far away that anybody can make the virtual clinic by in a hybrid manner. That means that one at least one visit is required and most of the thing can be done on the through teleophthalmology. So our catch line should be the instead of 100% classical teleophthalmology, it should be the conventional ophthalmology hybrid model. So with this, I end my
Sure.
talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anant. I just have one query.
Sir.
We had recently heard in the media that Sushant Singh Rajput was fed with the drug sent through teleophthalmology. And then there was some, legal issues that should not be done. So is there a criterion of drugs which should not be prescribed in teleophthalmology?
Sir,
and the second thing is that what is the emotional factor? Because every time you see a patient, you talk to him in front is different. Because a lot of people say that we'd like to see you in spite of being, counseled on teleophthalmology. So 2 points, and then we go to the next speaker.
Sir, this is very important because earlier I mentioned that rapport between a patient and doctor is very important, paramount important. That here we are missing. At least something can be restored by the synchronous teleophthalmology. At least we are watching on or listening to them. That criteria is not fulfilled through the asynchronous teleophthalmology. And next issue of what medication we should prescribe, what we should not. So there is one rule of thumb is try to avoid, at least in our ophthalmology, steroid or any mediatic, really, because we are not looking at the patients. There are certain limitations of ophthalmology.
Sure.
So angle.
I know you rightly said, Anant, you rightly said. Thank you so much.